right, man. Yeah, good morning. Good morning to you, Marty. Yes, it is perfect timing. Good morning, my man. Yeah, good morning to you. I will be on camera in just a second. Uh, just getting everything prepared and all that. I'll tell you a little process. He says I was just watching the Joshua Paul showcase. Yeah, that right there is an absolute spectacle. Okay, that we got going on with Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul. One of these fights that you would say on a regular basis that you know what these types of fights just don't happen. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I just had to turn my headphones backwards here real quick. Turn my Okay, perfect. So that's the perfect audio right there. Yeah, he says I was just watching the Jake Paul showcase. So uh okay, usually a lot of people will say this is not a fight that usually happens, right? It's not a fight that usually happens or a once in a lifetime fight as they say, right? Well, you know what? That's not necessarily the case, right? Because we're seeing a lot of these fights happen more often than not. Okay. Andrew Tate is also going to be fighting this weekend. So if you're missing any UFC this week, guess what, man? No UFC for the next 6 weeks, no problem. But what do we got this week? Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. Uh, Andrew Tate versus Chase Demoor. Okay, so I gotta tell you, uh, I gotta tell you, usually I would probably be against this fight, but the fact that there's no UFC, what are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? What are you gonna do if there is no UFC? Um, during this week, what are you supposed to do? Obviously, it's the perfect timing, right? Considering the fact that they had decided to put this fight on at a time when there is no UFC. He says this Paul fight is going to be huge. There's a huge buzz about it. People are really curious. You know what? The reason why a lot of people are curious is because Jake Paul is a brilliant marketer. Okay. And let me explain why he's a brilliant marketer. For one, the self confidence that he has, it's contagious. A lot of people, a lot of people underestimate the type of confidence that Jake Paul has. Look, here's the thing about Jake Paul that I noticed, right? This is going to be a shocker to a lot of people. Jake Paul is a sociopath, in my humble opinion. Okay, now that could be subject to change if, let's say, you have a personal moment with him, yeah, right? And then maybe you'll find out, you know what? Maybe Jake Paul is such a nice guy. I told you guys, a buddy of mine, Eric Trilogy, works with Jake Paul, right? And the one thing that I had noticed about that is, I mean, he gets paid very well. All the fighters that are in Jake Paul's promotion, MVP, they all get paid well. All the people that are involved with Jake Paul's team, whether that would be management, PR, or media, they all get paid handsomely. So there's really nothing to complain about with Jake Paul in that particular matter, right? But the type of behavior that he displays in front of the world, I mean, it is rather sociopathic to a certain degree, right? But then again, you also got to understand we all play characters to a certain degree, right? Even myself, right? I can tell you that for as real as I am, and or at least the way that I present myself, or the way that I sort of hype myself up, I'm gonna tell you that I'm the realest person you'll ever know, right? The realest ninja you'll ever know. And I'm not going to say the N word in, in that kind of matter. But yeah, I'm sure Fresh would love to hear me say that and then just clip it and then use it as a way to blackmail me one of these days. You know what I mean? I could picture him doing that. He says a lot of people just want to see him get knocked out too. So that's another thing, right? A lot of people want to see Jake Paul knocked out. And look, this is something that he's always sort of noticed when he was living in Ohio. Okay, because I got to tell you, well, you know what? Before I drop some serious thoughts on this, let me just get this what do you call it? This thumbnail going right now, just so we can yeah, just so we can get some more viewers in here, because for apparently thumbnails help viewership. So we're gonna get the thumbnail going here um in just a second here. So yeah, I got some thoughts on that as well. By the way, guys, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, because we've got a very fascinating live stream that we're going to do today, right? We're also going to talk about Ilya Topora, right? And the accusations that are coming his way. Are they valid? Are these valid accusations that they are throwing on Ilya Topora? Well, you know what? We're going to find out. We're going to find out what is the reality between what we are hearing. Oh, no. Oh, man. You know what? I'm going to cook on this because I'm gonna go in on Bryce Mitchell. Bryce, you done effed up, man. You done effed up going after Ilya Tapore. It's really making you look weak. And I get it. It doesn't mean that because someone beat you that you can't criticize or say something about them. But by the end of the day, he beats your ass, right? And that doesn't necessarily always mean that Bryce Mitchell or Ilya Tapora has the higher ground, or rather, Ilya Tapora having the higher ground based on the fact that he beat him, right? Because once again, understand this, guys. Okay, um, he chose to put himself in this position. Okay, Ilya Tapora chose to put himself in this position. Well, how do you say that? Well, let's go back to the Nelk Boys podcast. Okay, what is exactly the controversy behind the Nelk Boys podcast, if you guys remember? Well, the Nelk Boys said, "Wow, you met your wife in Miami?" And then Ilya Tapora says, with his cute little Spanish Georgian accent, "Oh, you can meet your wife anywhere. You can meet your wife anywhere. This and that." He says, "Yeah, I heard he wants to fight Ilya's brother. I didn't know he was saying stuff about Ilya, though." Yeah, he was saying that Ilya is John Jones, that Ilya is a Chris Brown, that Ilya is an Ike Turner. That without saying it in directly, that's what he's saying Ilya Tapora is, because one of the accusations that this no good bitch is throwing at Ilya Tapora is domestic violence. Okay, now here's the thing, right? Luke Thomas made a very interesting point about this, right? He says, "I love how everybody is going against the side of the woman when we really don't know what is happening yet." And you know what? He's absolutely right about that. He says, "Yeah, they told him you can't find a wife in Miami." Dude, listen, man. Miami is Slutville. Okay, it is Slutville. I'm surprised that people who don't live in Miami don't have AIDS. I'm being honest about it, right? Like, how is it that the majority of people in Miami don't have AIDS? Okay, let's be really honest about this, right? It is like disgusting Slutville to the max. Okay, and of course, other people are going to say something like, "Oh, don't you like, seeing women that are like, hopping around half naked or this and that?" No, for what? What do I need to see that for? What proof does it make me more of a man that I'm thirsty for wanting to see naked chicks or this and that? I'm like, man, I think a lot of you guys really don't see. I don't know. I don't want to go there because that's kind of the thing that a lot of people like to do is whenever they disagree with you with something, they always go with some low hanging fruit argument, which sometimes isn't even true. And by the way, an example of that is when Pierce Morgan came after Nick Fuentes. Now, look, here's the thing. He says true. Grasshopper Plus says true. Gomorrah. Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's a Sodom and Gomorrah type of situation going on here. Look, here's the thing, right? When Pierce Morgan went after Nick Fuentes, right? I'm not the biggest fan of Nick Fuentes. I'm going to be very honest with you, right? Do I like his content? Yes. Do I like the fact that he goes after quote unquote certain people? Yeah, that's kind of cool too. I'm not going to lie, that's kind of cool. I'm very sympathetic to some of the things that Nick Fuentes talks about. Fair play to him. But here's the thing about Nick Fuentes that I need you to understand, right? He is a staunch Catholic. Not only is he a staunch Catholic, he follows it to the T. Look, this guy is not married, right? So he says, I'm going to remain celibate until I get married. Fair play to him. Then here's Pierce Morgan, the biggest cuck in the media right now. Okay, the biggest Will Smith cuck in the media right now. Okay, he makes Ian Gary look like a bull. Okay, like let's be really honest about that. He goes after Nick Fuentes, saying, "Well, you're angry because you've never been laid, you've never been shagged before, so maybe that's the reason why you're angry so much." And that's not the case, Pierce. That is not the case. I think Pierce doesn't like the fact, and I understand why he doesn't like this fact. He doesn't like the fact that Nick Fuentes goes after Jews. He doesn't like the fact that Nick Fuentes, in his opinion, is a misogynist. Okay, those are fair points. You can have those points. You can have those contrasting points. But what exactly does he do? He goes and he says, well, you're this, that, and the other. I'll tell you this, right? The guy that I beefed with in Sacramento, there's this guy that I told you about, right? I urge you guys to take a look at the William Buckley versus Colby Covington live stream that I did on this channel, right? If you want to know where this beef started, I could tell you what if you watch that live stream, you're not going to get the entirety of the beef, because let me just say that the entirety of that beef spilled over in the real world, because remember, we both live in the same city of Sacramento, right? That's where the beef began. But I'll tell you a little bit of what he said to me during the beef, right? So, as I told you guys, I leave my life very private. Sometimes it leaks, sometimes you may see my children on camera, just randomly passing by wherever I am at the house, or if I'm in the car or this and that. Yes, that is going to happen, or that has happened, right? But for the most part, I keep my family life very private. Let me tell you the type of disses that this idiot throws at me, right? I mean, keep in mind, this is a 50-year-old black man, right? So he's a boomer, first and foremost. So there's, something you got to realize with that. He's a freaking boomer, just like Pierce Morgan is a boomer. He says to me, oh, you must be a virgin. You must, how come you don't have kids or this and that? Little does he know that I probably have children that are older than his. I probably have been, married longer than he has. The only thing is that I do not put my life out there on a public sector, right? I don't put my life out there like that for good reason, because this is what they're going to do. They are going to attack you with it. They're going to use it against you. And then here's Ilya Topuria parading this woman that he met in Miami to the world, not knowing that it can absolutely be used against him. Okay, it can be absolutely used against him, and I don't know, man. Like, there's a good reason why George St. Pierre doesn't do it. There's a good reason why Khabib doesn't do it. There's a reason why even Brock Lesnar, who had a wife that you literally exposed herself to the world, right? But then when they got married and when they left the WWE, it obviously became, a completely different, world. But now they're entrenched in being parents, living out in the woods or this and that. I'm talking about Brock Lesnar, right? So, once again, I don't agree with, this whole notion of like, using low hanging fruit arguments to, somehow, like degrade a person, or all of this, right? It's just all low hanging fruit, things that Pierce Morgan does, things that this guy Leon did, that and the things that he said, and then and then weirdly enough, I still get messages from this guy till this day. Now he wants to, like, make a truce or this, that, and the other. Oh, I didn't mean it, or this and that. Oh, I'm not here trying to fight another man of color, or, Muslims, or this and that. I'm a black man that doesn't want to fight all this, that, and the other because, well, let me just say that I showed him my card. You know what I mean? Let's just say that when it comes to the Sacramento stuff, this is a city that, let me just say, that loves me. Okay. I'm going to just leave it at that, right? They love me. And when people love you, they will do things for you and they will ride for you. So, that's that. So Ilya Topuria situation is looking really bad, right? Look, Andrew Tate came out. Obviously, Andrew Tate is part of this story as well. He came out and said something to Ilya Topuria regarding these red pill matters, right? So let's read what Andrew Tate, had to say about this, right? And there's a lot of truth to it, right? Even though you are a happily married person, right? There is some truth to what he is saying, because for the general rule of most people, this is true. I'm going to show you what Andrew Tate is talking about here. So Andrew Tate says these happily married guys always wake up one day and realize women simply can never be trusted ever, no matter how nice you are to them, how much money you give them, or how high of a status man you are. Men are in love, women are in business. He's right about that. Okay, he's absolutely right about that. Now, for the most part, he's right about that. Let me tell you where he is right. Okay, he is right when you are talking about, let's say, people that are, well, the Miami type of chicks that Ilya Topuria's wife was on, right? Look, do you guys find it weird? Do you find it weird that a lot of people make fun of Muslim women, right? They say, well, you guys are forced to be in that situation or this and that. Listen, guys, I'm going to tell you something. I don't know how other Muslims do it, or what their arrangements are, or this, that, and the other. Here's what I will say, right? What I will say is that if the majority of women that I know that are in Islam, okay, they are in it because they chose to be religious. Whereas you have somebody like Ilya Topuria's wife who chooses to be a 304. You got people like Jada Pinkett Smith. You got people like Aisha Curry. Okay. And it's like, do you imagine what it's like to be Stephen Curry? And I'm sure, I mean, not to me, because to me, I wouldn't want anyone's life but mine, right? And I think that's how you should operate on yours. But there's a lot of men out there that wish to have the life of what's his name? Um Curry. They wish to have his life because he's got it going on. He's got championships. He's world famous, world renowned, this, that, and the other, right? Nothing you can really take away from Stephen Curry. But the reality is that his wife is a 304, man. There's no doubt about it. She goes and embarrasses him out in public, talking about, oh, I don't get enough attention, or this, that, and the other. Yeah, of course you don't get any attention because you're not a basketball player. You don't have any skills that no one really cares about. And even if you had skills of, let's say, podcasting or talking or this, that, and the other, no one really cares because let's be honest about this, right? Most female streamers suck. Okay? They suck. That's just the reality of it. Most female streamers are not that good. Right now, name me a female MMA streamer. Right now, on the comment section below, I want you to name me MMA female streamer. That's interesting. And you know what? Maybe some people will say Pearls. What's her name? The one that blonde white chick who damn near looks like a man. That always regurgitates Andrew Tate's red pill, uh, talking points. You know what I'm talking about? Just pearls or whatever, right? uh yes, she's interesting because she's talking about subjects that such and such regurgitates. But other than that, please name me a female streamer that is interesting right now. I need somebody in the comment section right now to challenge me on that and tell me that there's a female streamer that's interesting. And the reality is there's none. There's nothing that they can talk about that's really interesting. And to be quite honest with you, uh, yeah, I don't find any of them interesting by the least bit. Not at all. Not at all. Right? There's nothing interesting about them. They don't have the proper life experience to make themselves interesting. Not like myself. Look, if it's not for yourself, then who's going to be for yourself? This is the reason why you should watch me. Number one, I've done things that many people have not done. Okay, in terms of streetwise, in terms of corporate, positions, in terms of corporate experience. On top of that, street experience. How about military and geopolitical experience? I got it all, right? So of course it's going to be interesting to watch somebody like me. But for most females that really don't have skills in anything, there's really nothing to talk about. It's better that they just shut up and yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, maybe they should go into OnlyFans, but that's not something that I'm necessarily going to push or promote. But on any regard, yeah, man, this is Ilya Topora in a nutshell. Also, Ilya Topura's wife, in particular, in a nutshell. Also, oh yeah, Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul are fighting this week. Let's hear what Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua are talking about. He says, "I got Muay Thai training at 9 today." Mike Long. Oh man, shout out to you, Mike. 9 a.m. So is that what time? What part of the world are you from, my man? Uh are you in the East Coast or West Coast? Because 9 would probably be 2 hours and 15 minutes from now for me, right? Cali. Okay, so that's in 2 hours. Okay, good, good. Okay, so I have to be somewhere at 9 as well. So hopefully, yeah, we can get through the first parts of our day like this. So, okay, let's talk about Jake Paul's training, right? Because everybody's going to talk to you guys about the media day, the face off that they had with Cameron. Let's take a look at what Tony Jeffries had to say about Jake Paul's training, and let's see how that matches up. Let's see how that matches up with what we got going on this week. So, okay.
Jake Paul's boxing training. Is what he's doing legit or not? Because he's one of the highest paid boxers in the whole world right now. And there's tons of clips of him online. So let's take a look at what this high-paid boxer is actually doing. Is it right or not? So here we've got him on the pads there. Oh, that's a nice jab. He's starting with getting power in. He's going for power jabs right there. Nice little combo at the end. I can stop that, maybe. And finish it off with a promo. Now you think, well, Tony, look, he's setting that jab, he's telegraphing that jab. But what he's doing right now, he's working on a power jab. Not a speed back jab, because speed jabs and power jabs are two completely different things.
I want to keep in mind that the guy who is reacting to this, right? Jeffries, Tony Jeffries, he's a former Olympian for the British national team. So yeah, he says I strength trained for 2 years so well that none of their shots are hurt during sparring, and I take advantage of that. You should see the look on their face when none of their punches uh, hurt me if it breaks them. Yeah, so you're saying that you feel that the weight training that you've done sort of gives you a certain type of armor. Is that what you're saying? You know what? It's interesting that you said that, right? because Jake Paul really put on some weights for this fight. And it'll be really interesting to see how that is going to help him in the process of this fight. So yeah, we'll see how much muscle is going to help him. But you're right. I think that having that type of armor around you, my abs armored me up, and I don't feel anything. Yeah, that is why it's always important to do your sit-ups, or by the very least, hit your core. He says, and I lift heavy. Yeah. You know what? I lift heavy as well, but a different type of heavy, right? Like, meaning that I don't. I mean, I barely do any bench presses, right? I barely do. I do squats sometimes, but at most I'll probably do squats, heavy squats, like maybe um, 4 times in a month at most, right? Maybe even less than that. But the majority of the things I do, things that you've seen me do on this live stream, sled pushes, box jumps. So what I try to do is incorporate strength with speed and stamina all at the same time, because yeah, that is normally what you have to deal with in a fight, right? You have to have speed, so you got to be faster than the other guy. So working on box jumps and explosives that has a speed element to it, adding one arm snatches, right? Performing basically a heavy lift that consists of, the movements that you do in a fight. So he says, yeah, I weigh 150 and I give heavy guys a hard time. Okay. Probably a lot to do with skills. He says, not to be cocky, I just love Muay Thai. Well, there you go, right? You give these guys problems even at the size that you have, because you are locked in, right? You are constantly training. You're constantly looking at your technique. You're very proficient in your technique and you're working at it. So all of that translates into uh, skill that could override the size. Now, let's hope and see that Jake Paul can get on that. He says, I'm working on my speed right now. Yeah. Um, yeah, I would recommend a lot of explosiveness, right? Even at 40, I've got, I mean, not to be cocky myself either, right? But, once again, the common phrase as goes, if you're not for yourself, then who will? So, you saying that and me saying that, I don't strike that as being cocky or anything like that. We're just truth telling, right? But yeah, at 40, I still have good amount of speed and explosiveness in me because of the box jumps. And yeah, I think you could reap a lot of benefits by doing it. He says, I'm working in not getting my legs snatched when I leg kick. He says, yeah, you look good, brother. Thank you, my man. Thank you. Uh Also, what is this? Fin conditioning, right? I've done. I'll show you the videos of that later if we have time. But I have videos of me kicking a steel pole wrapped with red duct tape. So he says, I thought you were 28, by the way. Well, thank you, thank you. Well, that's what happens, right? I think I don't know how old you are, but if you reach my age, you will probably look young as well, because that's just indicative of martial arts training and just overall a healthy lifestyle that you try to have as much as possible. So, all right, back to Jake Paul's training and see where this goes.
Okay, one body, okay. One body, okay. Two. Job, solid. So, nice combos. It's got the guy in the ropes there. Boom. Not much head movement. I want to be critical. It's all about forward punches and like.
Okay, so he pointed out something very interesting here, right? He says that Jake Paul is not implementing a lot of head movement. Now, should you implement head movement while you are hitting the pads? I say, yeah, I think you should. When you shadow box, look, let me show you something, right? When most people shadow box, they shadow box like this, okay, in a very subtle way. This is how they shadow box. Okay, let me show you for a second. This is how most people shadow box. Right? It's like, you ever seen the photo shoot that they do with UFC when they're doing the photo shoot, right? they're like doing these slow punches. Like, yeah, I'm taking pictures for the UFC for my pre-fight. You know those pre-fight pictures that they have, right? That's literally look. This is what you got to do if you're gonna shadow box. You got to feel like you're in a fight, right? So that means your head is moving. Not only is your head moving, okay, but also you got to move out of the way. You got to move. That's what you have to do when you are shadow boxing. You have to simulate a certain level of fight that is going on, right? You have to simulate what you do in a fight because if you don't, well, yeah, you're going to form bad habits. Yeah, that's just what it really comes down to. You're going to form very bad habits. So, what is this? He says, do sparring partners usually get intimidated if they see their shots aren't doing anything? They've tried to sweep me, but they just can't. My legs were just trained too well. I did better job than I thought. Okay. Um, yeah, if they can't hurt you, obviously, yeah, that will be a problem because look, even in sparring, right? In a momentary moment of where you hurt someone, that can actually give you a certain level of rest. You know what I mean? When guys get tired during sparring, they're like, man, I hope this guy fades, or I hope I can do something that can mitigate this situation right now because I'm getting tired and I need rest, right? Next thing you know, this guy's just throwing one twos at you and this and that, or just keep coming forward at you. And you're just wondering, man, when is this train going to stop? So yeah, if they can't hurt you, because usually that's how they're going to mitigate that situation right there, hurting you so that they can take a break. Or if you're doing boxing sparring, then you get a knockdown. They'll count you out or whatever, and then that gives him like at least 10 seconds to rest. Or yeah, you know what I mean. So a lot of that deals with knowing a lot of that deals with knowing that you are that you can't hurt them and that you have to continue the long path of trying to deal with these people. So all right, back to this one right here.
Not much coming back. But he's looking sharp, looking strong, looking powerful. Now there's some conditioning training that I've seen him doing what I want to react to.
All right, so this right here, this is important right here, right? Because we got to find out what his strength and conditioning workouts are because you know what? It is a very important element of fight. Now, okay, I noticed that Jake Paul is doing sled pushes. This is good. This is where a lot of your power is going to generate from.
Training that I've seen him doing what I want to react to. But before we get into that, I want to just have a look at some more mid work. Some speed work there. Stepping back, hooks the head. It's nice. It's like, again, it's just fancy stuff for the camera. It's not like, obviously, it's real boxing.
Okay, so I like that he said that, right? I like that he said that, you know what, all of this is just fancy work for the camera. I really like that he said that, right? Because oftentimes, this is what I see a lot of people do when they are hitting the pads, right? Especially if they put these pad work on video, right? They go, oh, this and that, right? Like they do all of this. It doesn't, I don't know, man. Like there's not a time in a fight where you're throwing that many punches in a row, unless, of course, you got a guy cornered and this and that. And, those occasions are rare, but they are a reality in a fight. You can hurt someone while backing them up and then just throwing multiple punches at them. He says, is training Muay Thai scary? Is scary in what way, Brad? What way would you describe it to be scary? I mean, is it any more scarier than, let's say, boxing, MMA altogether, jiu-jitsu or judo? Let me know what you mean by scary, right? Give me a context of what you mean by scary. But let's get back to this video and see what kind of training Jake is doing.
He's one here. Jake Paul's new footage. Actually, a year ago, so it's not that new. Oh, this is an open workout. So now, being an open workout, this is more realistic, right? Rather than the shorter clips. So look at that job. Look at his technique here. What happens to his right hand when he's throwing that jab? Nothing.
You see, the way that Jake Paul is training here is a lot more realistic. I have to agree with that, right? All of this, frantic, doing all of this, right? All of this does kind of indicate the kind of speed that you have, right? I mean, kind of showing you a little bit of some speed, right? Like it does indicate your speed, but you're not doing that when you are in a further range. You are not doing, you're not doing all of this while an opponent, while an opponent is at far range distance from you. He says, Brad says, some black guy made me cry in front of my wife and kids at McDonald's during rush hour. Then he slapped me. I need to learn to fight. Wow, dude. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Yeah, you know what, bro? Those types of stories are what makes a lot of people monsters. You know what I mean? Sometimes, sometimes, it will make some people racist. Okay, now I noticed that you made a qualifying suggestion that the guy that slapped you up was a black guy, right? I mean, look, I don't know, man. I understand that you have to give a description of some sort, but I don't know. Look, of all the fights, I'm talking about street fights. I'm not talking about sanctioned fights, right? All the street fights that I've gotten into, I never once mentioned the person's race. You could probably guess. I'll tell you this, right? One of the war cries that Leon had on me was because he said that I fight too many black people. Okay, this is what he said. He said, you try to unalive black people or this, that, and the other. Yeah, but that's because I got black friends that are into a lot of violent situations with other black people, right? So imagine that. I'm racist because I fight a lot of black guys in the name of defending black dudes. It's kind of weird, but that's why I never mention race if I ever get into a beef with somebody or this and that. I don't know. Maybe behind closed doors, that could be a little bit different. Maybe you will trash certain people that we're against or this and that, but that's as far as it goes. He says, yeah, the race whisperer can't be racist. No, I am far from a racist person, right? Whether that's against white people or black people. Like, yeah, I'm probably the least racist person there is. You know what I mean? I mean, if that's even a thing, I mean, like, that sounds so virtue signaling, but it's really true if you think about it, right? Like, there's like a lot of guys. Look, a lot of you live in towns that are secluded from everyone else, right? Not me. Okay, I've lived in towns like that. I've lived in cities like that, but I've literally lived in every single city and every single part of the world. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit harder for someone like me to, have those types of sentiments. But yeah, interesting enough, man. Interesting chats we got here. CBME is laughing at that. He says, "What the heck is it? Just kicked me out of the live chat. It said that it ended, huh? Okay, that's weird." Okay, he says the chat is racist. He says, "I'm crying in the bathroom. I can't face my family. I've been sitting in the wow." Man, I'm so sorry to hear that, Brad. I am really sorry to hear that. And it's yeah, man. I hope that this he says my boss is black and I don't want to go to work. Oh, okay. Well, so what you're saying by being that you qualify your boss as being a black guy and being that you just mentioned you got assaulted by a black man in front of your wife and kids, I think it's fair to say that you have a certain level of PTSD from a certain group of people because of what happened to you. Now, here's the thing, right? I got an Italian homie in New Jersey. He's got other Italian homies that I don't know about in New York, right? And he tells me that they are blatantly as racist as it gets. And here's the reason why. A lot of Italians in the East Coast, they either use black men to commit crimes or to perpetuate proxies, right, as their soldiers in their criminal empire, or they just flat out fight other black people, period. Well, this part of New York that my friends' buddies come from, right, they are literally at war with the blacks, okay? Like literally at war with the blacks. So guess what? Their whole entire commentary about black people is nothing but negative, right? It is nothing but negative. Meanwhile, me, yes, have I gotten into fights with black guys before in the streets or this and that? Yeah. But I also have a lot of black friends, and I've also defended a lot of my black friends while they were fighting other black people. So my experience is not going to be the same as those Italian guys. See, those Italian guys, they are dealing with a situation where they are at war with the blacks every day. Meanwhile, my experience with black people is positive. A lot of them are my coworkers. A lot of them are my my longtime buddies, my longtime comrades. A lot of them I would ride and die for. A lot of them were also former military mates. A lot of them were also, former classmates, people I grew up with, and and then people that I met in, either the YouTube industry or people that are in the fight industry. So I've had nothing but positive interactions with, certain types of people. Now, look, are there certain types of people that I don't get along with? Yes, but I will never tell you what group that is or let you know. You could probably guess because I'm literally friends with every single type of race and every single type of religion. Well, maybe that's not true, or maybe I'm giving you a clue there. But anyways, he says, "What should I do? Please give me advice." Well, Brad, the advice that I would give you is train, right? Nothing separates training from confidence. I'm going to tell you something, man. Anywhere on this earth that I walk on, I feel no fear. I hold my head up high and I feel no fear. That didn't come from out of nowhere. I didn't just wake up one day and ask somebody on YouTube, hey, how could I become like this? Well, it's good that you asked me because I have the perfect advice for you. And the perfect advice is just train. That is where confidence comes from. Why is it that I'm able to walk into a room full of people that I don't know, yet I could walk in there with confidence? You want to know why? In the back of my mind, I say, if anything goes wrong, I'll beat everyone's ass in here. I know that sounds very bully like. I know that sounds, very uh, uh, childish, even. I know that even could sound cocky or arrogant, but that's the truth. If I walk in a normal room with a bunch of normies, I'm going to F that guy up. I'm going to F that guy up. I'm going to take whatever I want from that guy, and nobody in this room can do anything about it because I train my ass off on a daily basis. And even if I go through tiny hats, he says, okay, well, yeah. And even if uh hold on a second. Let me rewind this part right here. Let me rewind this part. What did I say? And even if I go through tiny hats room with a bunch of normies, I'm gonna F that guy up. I'm gonna F that guy up. I'm gonna take whatever I want from that guy, and nobody in this room can do anything about it because I train my ass off on a daily basis. And even if I go through, oh, okay. So what I was gonna say was, even if I go through, let's say a couple of days without training, or weeks, or a month without training, the lifetime training that I've gone through, okay, will give me an advantage over any guy on earth, and that doesn't happen out of nowhere. He says, I heard my son tell my wife, Daddy won't come out of the bathroom. Should I slap him, Mommy? He's only 7. I'm so embarrassed. Yeah, man. You know what it sounds like is that you, my man, have confidence issues. You absolutely have confidence issues. And I think that's the reason why you got slapped up. That's the reason why you're living in fear right now. I could never be that, man. I'm sorry to tell you, bro. I could never be that. And look, Usually, if you're a responsible content creator, you sort of take these questions very seriously, right? Because number one, I don't know if you're pulling my leg. I don't know if you're just playing a character. I don't know if you're just posing as someone else or if you are making up a story. But most responsible content creators would say something to the effect of, well, you know what, I better be careful with this guy because he could be on the fringe. I don't know what he is liable to do, maybe hurt himself, maybe hurt his family. But then again, I realize by the sound of things, you probably couldn't hurt a fly, right? And that's the problem. The problem is that you can't hurt a fly. You see me, I can hurt a fly if I wanted. I have the speed to hurt a fly. I have the speed to hurt anybody that I want. And that right there is confidence. That didn't come from out of nowhere. Okay, that didn't come from out of nowhere. I grew up wrestling. I grew up doing taekwondo. I grew up, idolizing military gangs and all types of things that deal with violence. Yeah, I idolize all of that, right? So my mind is on a completely different path. He says, "What's up, my tech Orball?" He's like, "Yeah, shout out to you, man." He says, "You are not tough, bro." Luciano said player says, "You are not tough." So here's the thing, bro. What constitutes tough to you, right? Because here's a weird thing, right? You guys know about the whole 8th Street shooting in Stockton, right? I've been reading through the comments about this, right? And keep in mind, these are guys that I know, right? The 8th Street guys, the South Side Stockton Crip guys. I know all these guys, right? So I'm reading all the comments, and it goes something like, oh, fake gangsters, wannabe gangsters. Explain to me exactly what a wannabe is when the FBI was literally investigating these people. Okay, I've been investigated plenty of times. On top of that, these guys are verified gang members. What exactly signifies them as a wannabe? And then here's Luciano right here saying, "You're not tough, bro." How the hell do you know? How the hell do you know that? Do you realize I literally fought in the same card as Anthony Fluffy Hernandez? Okay, I got a medal in Taekwondo. I got a state championship in Muay Thai. And I've been training literally my whole life. So I don't understand what constitutes tough to you. And by the way, here's the thing, right? Suppose I'm not tough, right? If I met you in person, Luciano, I wouldn't need to beat your ass one on one, even though I could. I'll just let the homies run up on you on some real Suge Knight Death Row Records shit. Run up on you, hang you over the balcony, right here like Vanilla Ice, screaming for his life, and you would be begging for your life. So you know what? It wouldn't matter whether I'm tough or not. I've proven myself in a competitive setting. I've competed more than you could probably say for yourself. On top of that, I got homies behind me that will do things for me, and that could make it a very bad situation for you if I ever met you in person. So this idea that you're talking about, oh, you're not tough or this and that, calm down, bro. Listen, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, and the reality is, yeah, man. Look, you're just an idiot. I'm sorry, bro. You're just an idiot. So, uh, Luciano is an idiot. Man, the dumbest comment ever. He says, "Damn, that's badass, bro. Thank you." He says, "I'm going to step out of the bathroom. What classes should I sign up for?" Well, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, that should help. Um, what did my man Connor he say? He says, "Hell yeah, that's dope, brother. I only got wrestling trophies and won us in the 8th grade a bunch of medals in BJJ as well. A state championship Muay Thai is sick." Yes, man. Thank you, my man. He thinks that because you talk like a white news anchor. There you go. That's literally what it is. You know what, man? Shia LaBeouf, right? You guys know Shia LaBeouf, right? The Transformers guy. Okay, that's what's up, Connor. Yeah, man. Shout out to Connor, man. He unlike Luciano here, he actually trains and understands what tough guys are. Also, Marty as well. Obviously, he trains with MMA fighters, right? Legit MMA fighters. So He understands what tough guys are, right? Tough guys are not people that, are incoherent with their speech, that they can't talk or this and that. Just because I sound like a white news anchor or because I sound like Carlton Banks, it doesn't mean that, I can't mess you up. I mean, it's the dumbest qualifier ever, right? But that's the problem with people. They're normies. I'm telling you guys, the majority of people are normies. This is why I have no respect for the majority of people. This is why when I walk in a room, I'm like, man, I could beat that guy's ass. I would beat that guy's ass. I would beat his ass. I would take his lunch money. I could do whatever I want to anybody. And I'm telling you guys this from, a very dark matter point of view, right? This is not something that most people are going to admit. He says, I've never stepping in the octagon, but I have stepped on a wrestling match hundreds of times. Shout out to you on that, man. Salute. Yes, I mean that's MMA is combat in and of itself, but there's other forms of combat too. But yeah, all experience is absolutely should be all respected no matter what, right? Even if you had just one BJJ tournament or one BJJ match in your life, that is more respectable than people like Luciano who what do you call it, who just comes in here and says random things. Okay, I didn't want to lose my train of thought about this, but you guys know Shia LaBeouf, right? Now, this is not talking about fighting skills or anything. We're talking about gangster shit right now, right? Shia LaBeouf is a Southsider Mexican gang member from the Harpies Sureño gang. Okay, did I stutter? Shia LaBeouf, the Transformers guy, is a gang member. How did he become a gang member? Well, that's a long story. Let's go to war. Well, wait. Okay, let's not okay, real quick. Let me show you guys Shia LaBeouf.
Let me introduce you guys to a gangster named Creeper. He's from a gang called Westside Barrio Harvey Trece, or West.
So Excited Solar System says, bro, he's not a real gang member. Okay, that right there is the reason why I'm playing this for you. Okay? And I need you to get your mind out of what a gang. Look, this is the reality of what you all think gang members are, right? A lot of you think that gang members are people who are this ignorant dude. Let's just be honest, right? Because everybody associates crime with black people. Okay, let's just say a black guy who is turned up, has dreads, you know what I mean? Talks all this incoherent or this and that. Bro, listen, he's a real look. I know what you're saying. He played a role as a movie dude, yes, but till this day, he goes and hangs out in that hood. $1 million actor that he goes back to that hood and programs like everybody else, gets told what to do like everybody else, has a big homie, has OGs, and has all these people that he has to deal with in a rank. He says, dude, Shia LaBeouf as own living in his own roles. He pulled out of his teeth for Fury. He refused to shower for 6 months. And guess what? Being in a gang, bro, that is not something that you just play as a movie role. Even if you were doing it for method acting, once you get jumped in, it's blood in or blood out. He says, if you have all that experience, you would do fine in a cage, Connor. Yes, I agree. Yes, that right there translates very well in the cage, especially grappling. But all right, back to Shia LaBeouf. He says he is Malibu's most wanted in real life. He never got jumped in. Bro, you're wrong. You're wrong because I know people in that hood, and I'm going to just leave it at that. They say otherwise. They say otherwise. So this is the thing I need you guys to understand, right? Me, who sounds like a newscaster, okay? A lot of people have said this over and over again, right? They said, "Oh, you're not really from, Stockton or this and that. You're not really, you sound like a white boy." Okay, well, none of that matters because the only thing that matters is what your hood says. If your hood accepts you, it doesn't matter what the ops say or what the audience says. I need you to understand that. If you are a gang member, the only people that matter in that circle are the other gang members, the leadership structure within that gang, And also, not only that, uh, the audience that's watching it doesn't really matter. There's white boys that join Bloods and Crips all the time in California, right? There's white boys in California that are blood and crippin' or join Sureño gangs or this and that, right? All these other out of state guys, right? Especially in Atlanta, they'll say, "Oh, that white boy ain't really a crip, or that white boy really ain't a blood." Well, says otherwise. Says their hood. They say that they're down. They say that he's with the hood. So none of look. What I'm saying, excited solar, with all due respect, is that uh with all due respect, my man, this is what I have to say. Our opinion of Shia LaBeouf, whether he's a gang member or not, doesn't really matter. Now, my opinion happens to be yes, he is. Your opinion happens to be no. Our opinion doesn't matter. The only people that matter are the people in his hood or barrio. That's really all there is to it. Even he's not in a gang, is Shia LaBeouf still gangster as hell? Even if he's not in a gang, is he gangster as hell? Nobody is gang. Well, you know what? Here's the thing, right? By myself, I'm gangster as hell, right? And there's no doubt about that. I will get down on anybody on any God given day, right? But having a group of people around you that's help and support you, that are also activated into the same mindset when it comes to performing a certain level of violence, I mean, that's pretty helpful. You know what I mean? But Excited Solar says, if I'm wrong, I will say I'm wrong, but I've seen no proof. Trust me, bro, info. Okay, well, let's check this out and then let's determine this, okay? And then we'll and then we'll get back to Jake Paul's training.
Be a Heartbeat 13 gang. But hold up, ain't that Shia LaBeouf? Like the dude from Transformers? Yes, you would be accurate. Now, let me explain to you guys how this happened. Shia LaBeouf grew up in a place called Echo Park.
Okay, so there it is, right? There's the first clue. He grew up in Echo Park. Echo Park, Echo Park in LA has a lot of Latino gangs. They got a lot of Asian gangs, and the Latino gangs, okay, were in the neighborhood of Shia LaBeouf. So as a result, it makes him a member. Well, at least an affiliate. See, he's an affiliate because he's from there. Connor says, "Victory. It was a dream. When I was 17 years old, I blew out my knee before high school ended and had a gnarly hand surgery at 19." Dang. He says, "Bro, I don't know. You seem kind of square. I'll be honest. I doubt you're hard like you claim to be." Well, here's the thing, bro. I don't think you understand. Like, you don't need to know or understand me. You're saying, "Oh, I don't think you're hard or this and that." Bro, I've been in the military, okay? I've trained martial arts my whole life. Do you not think that someone like me would be a perfect recruit for people that are looking to basically express a certain level of violence towards other people? Bro, you don't know anything about me. I'm a very violent person. Okay, I grew up in a very violent situation, and all I know is violence. So for you to say, "Well, you look like a square or you talk like a square or this and that," yeah, because I'm college educated. He says only dope heads get their face tatted like this. I agree. I'm not really big into that. He says appreciate your service. Thank you, Connor. Shout out to you, my man. Echo Park is ghetto for sure. Yeah, and that's where he grew up at. He says so. So once again, Solar. I understand you live in a very small world. He says, "Bro, your skin is soft. I can tell you're not." Bro, I'm 40 years old and I look like this because I freaking train my ass off. On top of that, he says stolen valor. Okay, whatever, bro. Um this look, I you live in a small world, Solar. I know that you live in a small world. Let's be honest about this, right? You have the name of the solar company that you work for, okay, as your screen name, which means you probably make minimum wage. You probably wait for your commissions to come in for you to get paid, really paid, right? And then that's really all there is to it. And then you live in. He says, "Bro, I travel Alaska commercial fishing. This YouTube screen name is chosen by YouTube. Yeah, look, then again, that shows you that you're a normie. I'm sorry to say, but if you're choosing your screen name, if you're choosing your screen name as as YouTube chose it, then I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't really know what to tell you that other than the fact that you are you're an indecisive person. You don't know how to make decisions, which tells me a lot about you. He says commercial fishing is normie, bro. I crusades the I okay, I think you mean to say you cruise the Bering Sea. Brother, you live in a very limited world. Okay, you live in a world of Alaska fishing and this, that, and the other. You really don't know what's going on in California. You don't know what's going on in New York. You don't know what's going on in London. You don't know any of these places. So, that's why it's hard for you to believe that Shia LaBeouf is a gang member because you live in this world where you were taught to believe that a gang member is supposed to be this ignorant, turned up black guy that has no education. And little do you know, there's a lot of people. He says, "Oh, I live in Cali. I live in Monterey." Okay, very beautiful, man. Beautiful part of California, mind you. By the way, very Mediterranean like. So you are a fellow Californian, uh, which explains your fishing habits. Okay, so that you're also rich. I'm going to go at it, Lynn. Bro is judging so hard. No, you're judging so hard. Think about this, right? This dude is telling me that I'm not hard. You know what I mean? Like that's insane to me. Like think about that, right? You're telling me that I'm not hard or this and that, and you don't know me from a can of paint. Just like you don't know Shia LaBeouf from a can of paint. But listen, enough with you, and let's get to this, right? I welcome your comment either way, my man. Welcome here. He says my grandfather killed Benito Mussolini. Awesome. That means I probably hate your grandfather. Kidding. All right, joking.
Now, Echo Park is very hit and miss, which means you can go from being in a good neighborhood to a bad neighborhood immediately. So it's not like he grew up in the best area.
Okay, so once again, I need you guys to understand that, right? You can grow up in a good neighborhood to a bad neighborhood, at any time.
Shia LaBeouf got casted for this movie. One day on set, Shia LaBeouf shows up and he's flung down. Everybody's looking at him like, dang, he's good, he's getting into character. And he's like, nah, I'm in a gang. And they were like, nah, you ain't in no gang. But then this happened. Hey, Creeper.
Watch this. This guy right here, Conejo. Okay, he's a Sureño rapper. I would say he's probably high ranking with the Harpies gang. Okay, and he was the co-star of the movie The Collector with Shia LaBeouf. Okay, excited. He says, "Bro, that's his role in the movie. He got real tats." Listen to me, bro. The Harpies gang was not even a factor in the movie of The Collector. Explain to me what good does it do for Shia LaBeouf to have uh, a Harpies tattoo, a gang that is irrelevant to the universe of The Collector, right? In fact, the Harpies gang is not even an existing gang in the universe of The Collector's movie set. I need you to think about that, right? Yes, so he got real tats. He says wrestling beats judo. He says, yes, victory. I do train. He says sambo beats wrestling. Okay.
Come real quick, say what's up. What's up? Bang, 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 bang. Now, why am I telling?
Man, listen, Shia LaBeouf is a wild boy, bro. He's talking about bang, 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 bang. Oh, man, I love it, bro. I'm telling you, I love it. The dude runs around in little ass shorts, okay, doing his morning runs while throwing up gang signs. This is the Harpies gang sign that he throws up while he's running in his $1 million neighborhood. It's awesome.
I don't know. I just find it interesting. Anyway, Shia LaBeouf got more street credit than most of the rappers that you guys. Let me introduce you guys to a gangster named Creeper.
He says, "No, bro, I will die on this hill." He is living as a server mod. Clearly on the movie set. "No, bro, I will die on this hill." He is living A server mod, huh? Explain what that means. A server mod, by the way. All right, going back to Jake Paul's training, and then we'll go on to other things as well.
It's stopping exactly where it is, which is good. So a lot of people will throw that jab and the right hand will come down. Like the only thing I can be critical of right now, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, is he's just doing, I was just about to say it, is lack of fainting, right? And then watch what he does. Yeah, feints, right? Lack of fainting, lack of head movement.
Okay, so there's a lot of realism behind that, right? So, okay, let's go back to strength and conditioning training that the conditioning training that Jake does here. Okay, let's go to let's skip to this.
I should be doing abs. So then every session you should be doing abs. Just squat jumps for the dumbbells there. More core work, getting that core strong. People don't realize that, if you've got a strong core.
Okay, he's saying, I think Shia LaBeouf is begging the server mod of Street Fighter. He is still choosing his main character. Okay.
Helps you with punching speed, punching power. It helps prevent you from getting injured. So strong core is key. There's more core work there. I love this sort of training. This is exactly what I used to do when I was training Brendan Sharp or UFC heavyweight. I would do this right there, have him hold that position and throw their punches to his body. More weird squats, getting them leg.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it just by thinking about it. Meet Base 40.
Ever come, give me one section here and there, that spurred me on even more to get the most out of this. As we see here, he's got people around him all the time, cameramen, coaches, friends, the conditioning coaches, his boxing coach, and he's full of team around him who's getting paid. What that does is help the fighter, in this case Jake, get more out of the sessions rather than being there by himself, which I think is great. When I was training for
Yeah, listen, I want to address something with you, excited Solar, right? Um, look, I get it. I get that you understand. You want to call me a square. That hey, you probably don't seem hard or this, that, and the other, bro. Listen, this is an indicator of how gangster someone is. Okay, have you changed the lives of your ops? This guy Leon that I know in Sacramento. Guess what happened to him after our beef? His wife ended up divorcing him because of the fact that, well, let's just say that they were getting multiple disturbances come into their house. So, once again, if I can affect someone's life like that, I don't know, man. If you can affect someone's life like that, that you could just have random people show up at their house. And by the way, I had nothing to do with this. I'm a hey, listen, I'm a YouTuber now, so I got all types of supporters out there, right? I can't control what other people decide to do out there. If they decide to go run up on someone, then that's that. He says, I got under his skin. He says, bro, I troll a lot. Don't let me get to you. No, no, not at all, bro. Look, I know when you are just trying to engage a certain conversation where you're trying to troll, and even if you are, I welcome it, my man. This is what this is all about. Look, I'm very thick-skinned, and yeah, man. And also remember, listen, you're not like these other people, out of California. You live in the same state as me. And by the way, I love Monterey. Okay, I love Monterey. Monterey is one of my favorite spots to go to. As a matter of fact, I stayed at a hotel owned by this Lebanese woman by the beach, right? I don't know if you know, there's this like little lake, right next to the beach, and then there's a hotel right there. It's like this French style restaurant. I'm seeing French style. I forgot the name of it, man. It was like 2013 that I went there. But anyways, yeah, I love Monterey. So just be careful. We live in the same state, my man. But much love to you. He says, "Do you think Topuria beat his wife? Maybe." No, I don't think he did. Ryan Hamid, is this Daniel Hamid? Or Ryan, is that Daniel Hamid? Maybe, I don't know, but the vernacular looks very important. He says getting doxxed isn't gangster. He says getting doxxed isn't gangster. Are you? What are you referring to? Are you referring to your location in Monterey? I'm just kidding about that, by the way. I don't know you from a can of paint. You're an audience member. You're contributing to my chat, so I can't hate you that much, right? Can I? You know what I mean? And then the chances of us meeting are probably very slim, unless, of course, you are adamant in doing so, of course, in a very friendly way. He says, did he actually vacate the belt? No, he didn't. Uh, Patty and Justin Gaethje are going to fight for an interim belt, and obviously the winner is going to take on uh, yeah, they're going to take on Ilya at the White House. So, all right, okay. So we talked about Jake Paul. We talked about Anthony Joshua, right? This is Anthony Joshua's last hurrah. Okay, Anthony Joshua needs to win here, right? He says, "Are you threatening me by telling me to be careful? If you're threatening me, I'll track where you live, homie." No, I'm not threatening you, bro. I don't know you from a can of paint. You know what I mean? You already. I think you should be careful. Yeah, look. Listen, I'm not afraid of any fisherman, but look, I understand what you said earlier. I get it. You're just joking around. Don't let me troll you. That's fine. This is all in good. This is the internet, bro. You know what I mean? He says, "Excited Solar, do it. I want to see this dude, Mark, hunt you." Yeah, no, that's not going to be necessary. I look. Here's the thing, right? When we're done with all of this, you're going to go back to your normal life. We're going to be cool, and you're probably going to come back again and troll me for the next live stream, and I welcome that. Look, I don't know you from a can of paint. I don't know what you look like. The last internet beef that I got into, okay, I got into it because I know that I could get at this person. I know where this person lives. Me and this person had the same mutual friends. So he says, haha, I know, dummy, forgot to close uh, HP live location. Okay. All right. All right. I got you. I got you. Yeah. Thanks for that. Thanks for that tip right there. So yeah, man. Look, this is Anthony Joshua's last hurrah, right? But look, here's the thing about Anthony Joshua. I've already said everything that I wanted to say on that video that I have. Go check it out, by the way. Right? Very informative video that I need you guys to check out. Let's see here. What else do we have? He says, your email is connected to your YouTube channel, dummy. Yeah, so that I can have people hit me up for inquiries and this, that, and the other. I mean, look, that's perfectly fine, bro. Listen, I don't live in the hood, okay? I live in a gated community, okay? So getting to my house, good luck with that. And then coming to my house, I live surrounded by a country area, a country road. So you come in here, uh, I would spot you, in a heartbeat. And then I have like 23 different cameras in my house. So I'm perfectly all right with that, man. Yeah. But shout out to you though, man. You're my favorite troll of the day. So he says, yeah, sounds fun. Yeah, man. His name is his channel. Yeah. I mean, my name is my channel. Like, I'm not MMA guru, okay? I'm not MMA guru who's like, oh, I don't want people to know my name. By the way, his real name is Kyle Me, okay? So Kyle Me, M-E with two E's. I need you guys to remember that if you want to, get at my man. He says, yeah, excited solar, be respectful and stop being an idiot. No, it's okay, bro. He is being respectful. I don't want you guys to mistaken banter for being disrespectful. Now, there are people in here that are, just being disrespectful. Look, man, I got a moderator in here, which is Victory, aka Marty Miller, right? All he has to do is just hit, what do you call it? Ban this person, and you're out of there. Me too. I could just hit ban and get you up out of here, but I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? So he says, calm down. We will call him Leon. Calm down, Leon. Okay, you're calling me Leon because that's one of my ops' names, right? He says, Kier is the next Leon. Or are you talking about a different Leon? Let me know on the comment section below which Leon you are talking about. So are you talking about one of my ops? Or are you talking about Leon Edwards? Or are you just calling me Leon for the sake of calling me Leon for whatever? But yeah, take a look at this. He says, I'm just kidding, bro. I love you. MMA is cool. Man, shout out to you, man. And you know what? That's the beauty about MMA, isn't it? He says I troll hard though. Yeah, I welcome it. But you know what? You're actually very respectful. And look, man, you're a fellow Californian. You have a special place in my heart as a result of that. All right, before we head out, I want to get to the what do you call it? Which fight is this? The Andrew Tate fight. Okay, Andrew Tate versus Chase Demoor. Now, look, this kid looks completely uncoordinated, right? Looks completely uncoordinated. He says, "Man, they did Armin so dirty." Not so much. You know what? That's kind of a punishment on not making weight. And not making, oh, I'm sorry, not making weight, but not making it to the fight. So that's sort of the punishment that they are throwing at him as a result of that. So, all right, let's get to Andrew Tate and Chase Demoor. He says, yeah, kind of, but he hasn't been active, not popular, and pulled out of his title fight opportunity. Yeah, that's what it is, man. He just has to get his okay. Oh, there's a face off right here with hey, what's this guy's name? He says, "No, my guy is very well known." Okay, back excuse was fake. He cuts way too much weight.
20th Misfits makes its way to the City of Gold, right?
I will agree that Armin does cut a lot of weight, considering the fact that Armin is what do you call it? He's going to be grappling Shara Bullet. And that guy's an 85er. Excited Solar says if Armin simply kept quiet, he should have been having a next title shot. His winning is what is hiding him back.
Here in Dubai for Misfits Mania Fight Before Christmas. Its main event is they're going to Cobra Kai Misfits. It'll be live and Dubai, or welcome back to fighting. Whatever you'd like it to be. We're glad to have you here on Misfits, but the fight game has been yours for a very long time. I never really left. Yeah. I was training all of the time. I've lived in the gym. I've always loved the sport. I was locked in my house.
Well, here's the thing, right? Andrew Tate says he's training all the time, but I need you guys to understand there's a difference between working out and training, right? What Andrew Tate has done a lot of is working out. Now, look, has he done a lot of boxing, sparring, and training? Yeah, he has. But, to what degree and how much? I mean, that remains to be a question. He says Tate might down his facial bone structure looks weaker than the other guy. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You know what? We don't know what people are made of, behind that, right? And listen, sometimes not all muscle, which is what Chase Demoor has, is indicative of anything.
House for 3 long years with nothing to do but train. Yeah. But I think too. And then once that Misfits for a while,
he says Andrew Tate fights similar to Bobby Green. He doesn't put his hands down as much, does he? I'm talking about Andrew Tate.
CEO and take KSI's job. And then once that was done, let's wait to see. I want to be the me. It's fight then. Pretty excited. Casey says it's not personal. Do you think it's personal? No, 100%. It's not personal. This is the fight game. This is part of it. And the thing is Andrew.
There's nothing personal, but they certainly try to make it that way with, just having a little bit of some banter that they do. So
they say, don't meet heroes. I really like Andrew.
He says, yeah, he fights with his hands super low like Poetan. Okay. I think it's probably more to try to lure him in. He says his shin is high all the time when he fights Andrew. Yeah. He does open himself a lot, right? Very amateurish mistake, but that could cost him in this fight.
Obviously, he actually got me through a lot of when I had the viral miss swing. I used to listen to him on podcasts, listen to him a lot. I am an answer for, but there's nothing to worry about when I'm old and I'm coming back and all this crap. That's what makes the fight interesting. So I'm very glad he's doing that. For a few years now, and I've never shut my mouth. I always say one day I'm going to feel like I'm big enough. I think with your eyes, I've seen the pattern with somebody. This is the moment.
Yes, kickboxing, that does sort of factor in, considering the fact that sometimes you got to catch kicks low. He says Wonder Boy fights with his hands low too. Yeah, it's a karate taekwondo style. He says Andrew is a kickboxer, not a boxer. Now that's a very good point, considering the fact that that could be a factor in this fight.
Moment where I tell people, "Oh, listen, here's a lot more to gain, and I have a lot more to lose. I've given an effective without just fun out. I get the desert in front of these insane supercars I've not seen before.
He says Wonder Boy is really fast though, so it works. Andrew Tate used to be faster. He's old now. Yeah, and you know what? Here's the thing, right? This is why I say that you got to work on explosiveness a lot, right? Like I'm older than Andrew Tate, but I'm actually way faster than Andrew Tate because I work on a lot of explosiveness and excited. I need you to go watch some of my training videos. You would be surprised. I mean, it's like I guarantee you, it's nothing the type of training that you've ever seen before, right? We're talking about throwing up 100-pound dumbbells over my head, jumping boxes high, and on top of that, sled pushing 600 pounds while doing all these different drills. It's something out of this world. So I think you would change your opinion about me if you saw it, right? A lot of people have subscribed to my channel just based on some of the training footages that I put out there.
In fact, he's actually.
Let's fast forward this.
48. So I mean, like, if she could do that, I'd be impressed. He's almost there too. So I think he's never been in that moment. I've been in that moment. Fight for Chase. We're prepared for him to be 110 kilo. We've been sparring for that. We're preparing for that, and he's right. One shot is all we need at heavyweight boxing.
I've deadlifted at most 400 pounds before. Yeah. He says, bro, I don't think you're a square, man. I've also served 18 Bravo. I'm also judoka. Okay. So you're tapped in, bro. I gotcha.
One final message to each other. Chase, what do you got to say to Andrew one last time here?
After I knock you out, can I get a free membership to the real world? I don't think you're gonna knock me out, Chase. And truthfully, and I state this with respect for you. Going in there believing you're gonna knock me out easily is the biggest mistake you're ever gonna make in your fucking life. I promise you that. I promise you. Don't think you're gonna get in there and just knock me out easily like I'm a fucking idiot. Like I'm gonna go in there and I've made some mistake. I've just signed a contract and have to take this seriously. I'm not a fucking idiot, Chase. You understand me? So I think you should take this a lot more seriously, have a little bit more respect for me. I'm now your boss. I respect you as an opponent. I respect you as an athlete. And don't be walking through life saying I'm going to knock Andrew out like it's nothing. Because it's not going to happen like you think it is. Look, I was filming Love Island last week, so I'm good. My kid's completed. I was having my ties on the beach.
All right, man. So once again, very exciting fights we got going on right now. It says Solar, that's dope, bro. I've been wrestling since 4. I'm 32. Man, shout out to everybody in here that trains. You know what? Even though we do get into a little bit of some spat sometimes, I notice that the chat does get respectful after a while because let's be honest, right? If you've trained before, you will learn to respect other people because of the fact that you know what it takes to, hurt other people and that other person knows what it takes as well. So you're in for a fight either way. And then, and that's why we're all respectful here, but I really appreciate that. Guys, listen, that is all that I have for this one. It's been a really good one. Shout out to everybody that's tapped in. Hopefully you guys will tap in as well next time around with the next live stream sessions. Man, shout out to the Californians that were in here, bro. We're talking about 6 a.m. in the morning that I started this, and you guys have been here. So shout outs to that. He says, it's impossible. Tate needs money. Peep out my fights on Street Beefs, Judoka. Oh, wow. Okay. You're on Street Beefs. All right, my man. Yeah. Shout out to you, my man. He says, I'll probably just doing it to bring more eyes to his promotion now that he's part owner. Yeah. Similar to Jake, right? I mean, that's a video in and of itself, right? San Diego. We got Monterey in the house. Shout out to Connor for saying that. Sacramento, LA, Ohio, and around the world, man. Shout out to everybody that has tapped in here. What he says, yeah, man. Ryan says, man, Andrew Tate shouldn't fight in reality. What's the point? So here's the point, right? For the same reason why Jake Paul is doing it, because they all want to challenge themselves. That is the ultimate key. They all want to challenge themselves. So that is the ultimate thesis for Andrew Tate and Jake Paul. They want to challenge themselves. Can they do it? We're going to find out. Also, here's another thing. Ilya Topuria, a little bit of some recap on that. He obviously has a lot of marital problems going on right now, right? This is what is going on in his life right now. This is why it's important for you guys to choose the right partner. Okay? You need to choose the right partner because whether you are trying to accomplish becoming a CEO, whether you are trying to accomplish becoming a doctor, whether you are trying to accomplish trying to pass your bar exam as a lawyer, you don't want a bad woman around you because guess what? It's going to affect you negatively with the pursuit that you have going on. He says, I did my research, holy ish. Shit might be connected to the big homies. I confess I was wrong. I did my research, holy shit. Okay, so here is goaded. Yeah, shout out to you. I think that's just a money grab. Are you talking about me or are you talking about what's his name? Shia LaBeouf. But on any regard, let me know on the comment section below. The non-live comment section. Hit some comments on this when it ends, right? Because there's the live section of the comments, and then there's the regular comments. Let me know in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think about the fights this weekend, right? We will see. He says Tate had a major legal battles that could be broke. It could be a money grab. Yes. Similar to Jake Paul, right? Think about it, right? Why is he taking this fight with Anthony Joshua? Because he's got a lot of security and a lot of people that he has to pay and a lot of people that, he needs to pay a lot of people. So it is, it is for that reason. He says, late Connor, best of luck to you, my boy. I enjoyed every minute of it. Hey, guys, I've enjoyed every minute of this. Shout out to everybody around the world. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you in the next one. Inshallah.